And I don't know the events that go on. When a trustee comes to me and they request a room, I take it at face value as them requesting the room for usage. That's how I take it. The event that's going on, who's in the room and how they're using it, I have no knowledge of. Nor, honestly, did I actually instruct my staff to ask them exactly what they're using it for. It was done in the past. I've seen it done. In my 2.5 years here, I've seen trustees use 90 Town Center. Now, as a point of correction, you had Trustee Williams that was running 90 Town Center, but you also had Trustee Oscar Brown that was running it as well. In certain occasions, it was for the same group of individuals. Communications may have been missed, where Trustee Brown may have rented it more than once in a month, but I think that's the issue as far as communication. My statement to trustees that had issues with the rental of 90 Town Center is, if you want me as a village manager to restrict a boss, or one of my bosses, supervisors, that does the evaluation on me, to restrict what they're doing, then it has to be either in writing or through legislation. That's the statement I made. Okay? If that is the will of you telling, me saying to me, the room cannot be used. For me to tell somebody that holds a position of authority over me to tell them, no, you cannot do something, is insubordination 101. I mean, I worked in a paramilitary environment for a very long time. When I oppose individuals, I know the operation and how the village works since I've been here. And I told everybody here, all 7 people sitting up here, that when I became village manager, that I would never be placed in the middle of anything going on with other elected officials, let it be a change, difference of view, difference of how speech is done, who meets here, how they meet, what they talk about, that I will not interject myself, because I have to work for each one of you all equally and independently and fairly. So in saying that, regardless of the outcome of this 90 Town Center situation, I will continue to do as I'm directed. I will continue to do this job in a fair and transparent manner. But I think I had to set the record straight. At this point, rentals are the way they are. Okay? If the board wants to change that, enact legislation and policy. That's where I'm at. Okay? So I just want to be very clear with that. I don't want to cause any disagreement amongst the board members, nor any debate. That's not my position. That's not my thing. And I've talked to each board member individually about this subject, and I believe I've transmitted the same amount of information, the same statement to everybody offline in individual conversations. The mayor, I think her position is she wants to create an environment that's harmonious. She has a new board. She wants to try to work through things and have everybody do things equally. Everybody has their opinion. 7 of you all have your own opinion, which I value. All you all can't have the same opinion or think the same, because then you guys wouldn't be doing anything conducive up here, right? Because that's a democratic way. So in saying that, we need to move forward one way or the other. I look forward to whatever direction it goes. Positive, negative, yay or nay or abstain, it doesn't matter to me. But the staff needs to stay focused on the tasks they are doing, and they cannot be distracted based on doing inquiries and figuring out who's renting what and when and why and what's being used. Now, I will tell you, if someone uses 90 Town Center and it's on a constant basis, I personally would ask for some type of moratorium or some type of donation to the village. Very small, it could be $50 a year, I don't care what it is, but showing something given back to the village as far as the use of the facility. And that's a small thing I look at doing, because we do have to clean up, public works does have to dump garbage and various different things like that. I mean, that's how I see it. If it's not done, that's fine. One way or the other, it doesn't affect me anyway. It doesn't affect me. I have no position on it either, inch-wise. But I do want everybody to be able to come and communicate in a manner that's efficient and that's effective, so we can focus on moving all this legislation through. We had almost 14 agenda items. So we got an executive session tonight, so I'm going to end what I'm saying. But I just ask the board for their support in moving forward. Thank you.
Clerk Detail. Just briefly, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to offer my condolences to someone I've known since the since she went down here to University Park back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. Gloria Barnett Brookins. She truly was a community activist. Very, very dedicated to this community. As an employee, as a committee member on several committees, and most profound with the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners, where she served for 11 or 12 years as the chair. She will truly, truly be missed. Those of you who knew her very, very vocal about her community and the things that she thought could have and should have been done. I remember when she was worked at PIC, where she, along with one of our former mayors, our first African-American mayor, Chuck Collins, they were very instrumental in a lot of people having employment in Joliet. And also, there was that PIC program that they employed in here at University Park so many of our young people. So let's keep her family, her kids, and she was a proud, proud grandmother who was so excited to be a grandmother. So let's keep the family in our prayers. And I say all the time, if you can get a prayer through, get it through for this family. This community is going to miss her. So, I would also like to remind those of you in the viewing audience, March 20th is our general primary on a state, county, local level. However, none of University Park's elected officials are up for office, but this is a most important. I always say the primary is actually more important or just as important as the general election, because the primary is when you actually vote for those people to run, to be there in the office. So don't throw all of the literature that you get in your mailboxes away before you read it. Try and get to know who the candidates are. Vote your conscience. And not make this a popularity contest, but make it a contest of what can the candidates do for us, and what can we do for the candidates to move this community forward. Early voting is beginning. There are early voting sites in Will County, and you can access those sites by going to the Will County Clerk's office. Will County Clerk's website, and that's the Will County Clerk to get the information. And I wanted to say that because we will not have another meeting of the board before the election. So, good voting.
Okay. Clerk B. Jones, I don't know, do you have any arrangements for her family? Has anything? Okay. I would like to make sure that we do a resolution. University Park produce a resolution in her honor.
Just wanted to
So, yeah, so that we can go on record. No one in this village that passes should never have a resolution on file in this village. No one has ever lived here. I don't even care if they lived there a month. They should have a resolution filed. So And if you hear anything, let us know as soon as possible. But I'd like a resolution to be so I can present it at the funeral services. Okay. Thank you very much. Any trustees? So there's Trustee Williams. Okay, Trustee Wilson.
I have two brief comments. One, League of Women Voters of the State of Illinois is asking for action to be taken on lethal violence order of protection. Everybody heard about what happened in Florida with all the kids, the shootings and killings in Florida. So it's from the Bonnie Cox, League of Women Voters, State of Illinois President, her co-chairs, the action they need. Call your Illinois senator and representative to support the lethal violence order of protection. That's SB 559 for the senator, HB 2354 for your representative. This bill empowers immediate family members who are concerned about a loved one hurting themselves or others to petition the courts to remove firearms for a limited amount of time. Everybody has the right to bear firearms, just like we have the right to freedom of speech. But I'm just going to point out two facts. 80% of people considering suicide give some sign, and oftentimes we miss them because we're unaware. 38 out of 62 mass shooters in the last 20 years were reported as displaying signs of being dangerous prior to the killings. And sometimes family members know this about mass murderers or like the young man who did the shooting in Florida, but they don't know what to do about it. So this lethal violence order of protection can help that, and it will lists a couple of things that it'll do. The court is authorized to issue a warrant for any firearms in a person's possession if they think they're mentally ill, or an immediate family member or law enforcement official can petition the court for lethal violence order of protection. So please, Senate Bill 559, House Bill 2354 for your state rep, and call them to ask for their support in the lethal violence order of protection. Also, there's an organization, SOS. A group of us are working to right some of the things that have been wrong at Creekmore High School. SOS, they're having a parent information meeting, and this will be in conjunction with the Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights. They'll be having a meeting on March 10th, 10 o'clock a.m. through 12:30 p.m. at University Park Library, 1100 Black Hawk Drive. There's some extra flyers over on the table. Again, this is SOS. They're having a parent information meeting. They'll tell you a little bit about knowing your rights, informational training on school residency. If you're not aware, Creekmore High School, or School Board rather, Creekmore School Board is looking into residency checks, and mostly in University Park, to see if the people in University Park really live out here so that they can go to Creekmore High School. It's a lot to talk about, so please, I encourage you guys to come on out, listen to Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Staff Attorney Jessica Snyder, and they'll have plenty of information. I'll try to get the agenda posted on next door.
I'll say the next door.
I was trying to get the agenda, so it's very informative. I'm sorry that I did not bring the agenda, but this is a really important meeting for anybody who cares about the youth in University Park. I too give my condolences to the Barnett Brookins family. Miss Gloria was very vocal, and I love the fact that when she had some concerns or she wanted to have a discussion on which way I voted, she called me, and we agreed. Most of the time we ended up agreeing, but if we didn't, we agreed to disagree, and we were always kind to one another. So I will miss her as a community activist and as a kind community activist.
Trustee?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm getting better again. I got my paid notes. I'm learning. I think this will be under 5 minutes. 3 minutes. Yeah, do 3 minutes. I don't have much to report, Mayor, but outside of many of the residents from New Hope Church, again, Mayor, they live right here in our village. I want to thank Gary from Public Works for the snow removal. I did have the opportunity to talk to Gary today. I had not been feeling well from medication. It just not working well with me for a week. And I just stopped today. That's the best advice. But Rosedale, we talked about that, and we're going to work something out and make sure that you don't have those issues with the snow being in your driveway. But also, I didn't know, I don't have social media. I heard this trustee, Paula Wilson, was saying here, I don't have Nextdoor, I don't have Facebook, we don't do any of those things. But when I get a call or a question, email, I'm gonna answer some questions and I'm gonna be done. Because for those who followed this past campaign, let's make it perfectly clear. Oh, I got a clock. There you go. Can you knock off about? Job already. Yeah. Good job. Okay. For those who, yeah, because I will ramble. For those who remember, in this last campaign, I did not put out one negative piece. I campaigned on a positive note, myself and Trustee Curtis McMullen, and as well as Trustee Liz Williams. This is a different type of campaign. So I'm going to answer a question that a resident asked me, but this is the truth. Mayor Covington did not pay for my campaign. And if you know me and my wife, we do not accept any money. We give money. In fact, I have given money for the Boom Park project, whatever you call it. I have given money in reference to kids. It was, what do you call it? I don't even know. It was Public Works 2. Someone came to my house and they got it, and actually the person who I gave it to, the flower she put in front of my house is beautiful. It blooms every spring. Favorite color of Karen's, my wife's favorite color, every spring. But somewhere, I would say this, the mayor did not pay, but the mayor endorsed me, as well as the comment that was made this campaign. This mayor campaigned harder this election than she did in her own, because she wanted to see the change on the board. The change that we can all sit up here and talk to each other, not call each other out our names, and try to have 3 different ideas now on this board. So, again, we always gave, and I want everyone to understand, we've been in office 285 days. I don't know what you expect. First of all, Trustee Curtis McMullen did not take no 26 million, 22 million. Trustee Liz Williams didn't take no millions. It was bad management before half of us was even up here. And I'm going to say it again. It was bad management of money. So, if we're going to put the information out, put it out right. For those who know me, this was my 4th election. 90 Town Center was on my mailing. It was also on my website. So we do understand your concern. The mayor is not going to release the Board of Trustees when the time comes. We will let you know what's ready for 90 Town Center. If there's something wrong in this village that you see that should need improvement, we have a village manager who just told you tonight that he's doing everything in transparency. He didn't have to do what he did. And let me cover this word corrupt. Again, for the last time, that man is a police officer. I'm a police officer. If you think I'm corrupt, Make sure you sign that affidavit when you file that complaint on me. Other than that, I can tell you, many of you know me. The 617 votes I got wasn't by accident. I touched every single door because you know me. You know me, you know my family. And that, the change is coming. Even with the trustees that sit here, I learned so much from Trustee Milton Payton and Trustee Oscar Brown. May not agree on everything, but those two gentlemen have taught me more than you would know. One is we can all talk. So I leave it at that. The mayor doesn't have my vote. She'll tell you there's some things we disagree. Y'all should have sat here and looked at the Amara incident. Did we forget? Because I didn't agree totally. I agreed because I thought I had something that it was in my vision. This is nothing against her. I thought it was in my vision of what should move us forward. And it just didn't work out right. So we all had a disagreement up here, and we had those who agreed. That's what you voted for. Lastly, Gloria Barnett Brookins, may peace be upon her soul. That is the lady who chairmanship I took over from the Police and Fire Commission. She's going to be missed. I'm going to say a quick story very quickly. For women, I learned a lot, and those who were there election night, I told the story about the traffic stop. And it dealt with women being surrounded when I reached this point by a lady I pulled over, she didn't know me from Adam, but she gave a description, and I'm surrounded by women. Just take a look. But Gloria said that when she first got on the commission, Theo, listen to what I say and remember this. When I first came on the Police and Fire Commission, it was all men. I was taking minutes to the meeting. And so after 2-3 meetings, she said, looked at the men and said, you think I'm going to continue to take minutes here for the Police and Fire Commission because I'm a woman? And they go, oh, no, Gloria, no, you don't. She said, well, why are you designated to me? Because I'm a woman. And if you know Gloria, she has a hand on her hip. And she pushed her coat jacket back. And she said, because I'm a woman? And they said, oh, no, Ms. Brookins, no, we'll take the minutes. And she said, Theo, whatever you do, remember. And sometimes I do feel like this. When you hold a position in this village, you stand your own, but also sometimes when you're official, you're going to feel alone. So Gloria, thank you. I appreciate you. I know you hear me. And thank you for the knowledge that you spilled on to me, even as chairwoman of the Police and Fire Commission. And I close there.
Hello.
You're fired. You're fired. Get out of there. Somebody else was you're fired. Now you give him a time.
I'd just like to acknowledge the Brookins family for the passing of Gloria. The last time I spoke to Gloria was right in front of the library after an exhaustive day of campaigning, and that was April the 4th. And she stood around at the end of the library when we were collecting the numbers, and I had a chance to speak with her and Joe Lovelace. So, God bless each and every one in their family. And I just want to address something that my partner, Trustee Brooks, mentioned and echoed earlier. It took me 3.5 years, 3.5 campaigns to sit up here. 3.5. So everything that I say, everything that I do, I mean it. And I have to sleep well at night with myself. And what I've noticed lately, the last campaign has been, it was excruciating when it came to dirty politics. And I would go door to door with my partner, and we would be talking with the residents, and there'd be negative mail against us in the mailbox while we're trying to express to them our interest in a village. So it was very, very difficult. Right now, social media right now is in some aspects, very, very nasty, extremely nasty. I had mentioned what I had mentioned on Nextdoor about 6 months ago. I said I wasn't going to bless this app with my presence anymore. I just had to tell a certain individual, if you're going to say something, just say it right. Just like I was over in First Baptist Church, and my partner sitting next to me, he has since apologized to me, former trustee Larry Brown. He said, I'm sorry, but the campaign is rough. Even my partner sitting next to me, Mr. Payton, we had some words or two during the campaign, but that stuff is over with right now. He's one of the smartest individuals up here, so I consult with him quite often. I consult with him quite often, and I have a lot of respect for him. So anything that I do in reference to this village, all of the social media that we run into, they want me to address it. They want me to address it. I'm tired of it. Just spew some facts sometime. Just spew some facts. And that's all you have to do. All that extra stuff that's unnecessary, I will not address it. I will just not give it the light of day. And we should all just care about making this village a better place to live. And there's a campaign out here right now, just a campaign out right now to start smearing everybody. Everybody, that's wrong. That is totally wrong. And I'm not going to give credence to that. And those guys should just stand down and just do something that's right. Daddy, do something that's right. Leave that negativity alone. Just leave it alone. During the campaign, what were we? We were Republicans?
Independent Republicans.
And idiots?
And idiots of Donald Trump. Connected dots.
And Madam Mayor had horns on her head? That was ridiculous. And that was so ridiculous. So all of the stuff that they spew right now, just get real and do what's right. That's all we asking is do what's right. That's all we have to do. Now, that's all I'm going to say. Everybody have a nice night. Thank you.
Mr. Richardson, could you please start the timer? I'm going to be brief, so I want my 20 minutes just to, I'll be done. I'm not going to run over the 20 minutes. All right? All right, first of all, I'd like to echo, my condolences to the Brookins-Barnett family. Gloria was a force to be reckoned with. I, worked with her on the Finance Committee for a lot of years, 20 plus years she was involved. In fact, we talked about the cell phones a little earlier. She's the one that did the FOIA. We found out we had 111 cell phones and 65 employees. So, you got to figure that one out. Right? In fact, before she got ill, she came to us with the public comments thing. That's why we had to come up with the public comments piece also. So, now, let me just say this. It's just my saying, and some people have heard this, that opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. Some of them just stink, right? And I met with what I think are the principals involved in this meeting of the minds thing, Gilbert Shaw, Al Penn, and I met with Dave Johnson at request by the manager to hear what they had to say. And I quite frankly was totally unimpressed because, but I'm willing to listen to what you had to say. I have no qualms about that. And because what I heard from them was the same stuff that got us in this problem that we are right now, because they were an integral part of this village before. And, they were proposing the strategy, but hadn't even read our comprehensive plan. How do you develop a strategy for the village if you don't know what our comprehensive plan is? So I wasn't really impressed, but, I gave them their day in the sun, and if they should come before the board, then I'll have my comments on exactly what's what. I've been writing them down, so I won't forget them, because I'm getting up there. So I want to say that I really appreciated the Finance Committee the work. John Lindblom wasn't there. Our buddy over here, Ed Rogers, couldn't make it. It's a wonder he's still walking because he's been working through the flu for so long. I've been trying to tell him he need to take it easy or we'll be joining him in Gloria, you know. So, but Manager Pink did an excellent job. It was one of the better finance committee meetings that we've had. There should have been more people there, but this time I didn't have to serve as the body that formed the quorum. So, which is something in itself. So, I want to keep the ball rolling. And is my time up yet? So, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm done.
Okay. Trustee, I received a phone call this evening, and you have a new person who wants to come on finance.
Okay.
So people are really eager, and they go on the website. So like I said, I'm really happy about the committees.
We had a resignation, Sasha Dunant had resigned, but, you know, there are a couple of other really good people that I hope will come aboard.
Okay. I told her to apply. There you call. Trustee Brown?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too want to offer my condolences to the Brookins Barnett family. Quick story about Gloria. When I was first running for trustee, I think that must have been in 2006, 2007. I was told I had to go to a funeral. It was I believe it was Chuck Collins' funeral that year. I can't remember who exactly told me, but I got into a conversation with Ms. Brookins. And she gave me the working over and like, why should you be a trustee and da. And I gave her some pretty good answers. And she said, well, I still may not vote for you. I said, don't worry, Ms. Brookins, you're going to be my number 2. And I think we've been getting along together for quite a long time. She would truly be missed. She did a lot of excellent work with the Police and Fire Commission. It was her baby, and she would just be missed. Justice Cardozo, for those who don't know, Justice Cardozo was a Supreme Court justice, I'm going to go within the 40s, 50s, described freedom of speech as the matrix, the indispensable condition of nearly every other form of freedom. Or as Justice Holmes has he put freedom of speech, it is not free thought for those who we agree, but freedom for the thought that we hate, which gives the theory its most enduring value. That is the value, in my opinion, of the First Amendment, that we can agree to be disagreeable and we can have a true exchange of ideas. No matter how distasteful, no matter how untrue the statement is, we should all have the right to say it, and then let the free exchange of ideas be the touchstone and the centerpiece and the proof of what is and isn't true. I will use one example that is the most egregious example that I can think of. I was referred to as a clown once. Now, as I sit here and talk, have I displayed any clown-like attributes? Have I gotten up and sprayed anyone with